I know. Way different than last week, huh? Like I should have more there to like evenly spread out the,
We'll give it another minute here, because I see we're down the one elevator somehow again.
Well.
Anyone know what happened, or anything?
I know nothing. I was just told and then experienced.
Go hard.
I haven't talked to Bill.
he's off today.
He's off there.
It's that thing, right.
Easy.
How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You okay? I'm sorry. Not yet. Not yet. Don't hurt yourself. I'm sorry.
My kids. I'm sorry. Next time if I ever have to apologize to you, I'm going to say that. I didn't give up.
We'll look at that. If it works.
And I asked them, do you think I need the other one?
Really? I'm surprised too, because they all told me you don't even wanna go. I asked what was in there. And they were like, you don't want to.
When I opened the door, I was like, I don't.
One of these, because I was afraid what I was gonna see, but. So there's no like light, it's just like a. Oh.
Whatever, what you put in your
Are you even board hand now?
And there's a couple opinions, the petition.
I think I am.
Is that possible?
It's probably better than what actually on the other side.
Severe cleaning?
Yeah. Okay.
Clean for one day.
I'll make a note.
If it's doable, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, where would you put like, you can't do a window unit, you need like a little tower AC thing.
Or just,
Well, no, it's not,
but,
okay,
you know what I mean?
it's room number 4?
Yeah, that was the only one I had a key to, that one.
Okay.
So, usually there's someone.
Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll get started.
No, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
In the winter, we use the hotel.
That's a great idea.
Sometimes, you
Good
know,
morning, guys.
but I don't wanna burn through those.
Okay, this is the, workshop prep for the regular meeting, on August 23rd. It's August 22nd, and Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Here.
Mr. Malloy,
Here.
Ms. Frenchco.
All right, good morning. Hope everybody had a good weekend. And we've got, a little bit of stuff to go through today, and then a few other things that aren't on the agenda that we'll deal with. We'll start out with, number 1, dispense the reading of the minutes. Dated August 14th, that's for the, special meeting that we had. And then dispense the reading of minutes on August 16th. That was our regular meeting last week. Number 3, approve, okay, I see, mixed them around here. Approve the bills is number 4, so we'll skip that one and go back to number 3. Approve the personnel action for the employment transfer, Ms. Christina Stein from position of journal clerk, pay range 7, rate of $18.39 per hour, to the position of journal clerk 2, pay range 8 with the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners, at a rate of $20.31 an hour, effective August 16th, per recommendation of Human Resources. This was on the agenda last week. We got distracted by discussion and all kinds of things, as you know, from last week's meeting. So we didn't actually take the vote on this. We'll do that as number 3. Number 5, transfer appropriations. Auditor Yoder, Board of Elections, FY 24.
Okay, so Board of Elections is 20740, it's to fix an over budget, property to advertising and printing. I'm gonna skip sanitary engineer and let Bob do that in a minute, since he came here. And go to the Planning Commission, $400, computer equipment to postage, and Clerk of Courts, $4,225.96 is fix and over budget, office equipment, postage, and office supplies to various accounts. Just a reminder, none of these are fund transfers, they are within a fund line item.
And sanitary engineers, $1,500. We're increasing our new employee clothing allowance. We've hired enough people that we need to increase that allowance a little bit, and I'm transferring that from our workers' comp.
Who are you that you're so tan?
I told you I'm working.
Yeah,
I told
I
you.
guess
Number 6, acknowledge the retirement of Mary Lefthris from her position as Chief Deputy Recorder of the Trumbull County Recorder's Office, effective August 31st, 2023.
You're missing some paper.
Yeah, Commissioner, we're
Let
missing,
me go get that.
What's that?
We're missing a page.
Yeah.
well, you're missing 14 and 15 too.
We'll just reprint.
It goes from 13 to 16.
Yeah, we're missing two pages.
You might wanna hold off on that.
Yeah.
Hold off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, we need a new one.
Here, you know what, I'm gonna,
Typo.
It's
Yeah.
missing.
you're gonna be missing
Missing
half yours. Let me get that real quick. Thank you. Anybody else wanna save a tree? Hopefully we can recycle it.
Here. I got it. Here.
Is she gonna bring a page, or is she bringing a whole new agenda?
No, you're missing 2 more pages, so, and they're already stapled, so. Yeah. I mean,
Okay, I see.
yeah. I mean, it's not like you're.
Ours are good.
Mhm.
Oh, yours are printed, correct?
Yes.
Morning, Jerry. I think,
Oh, we don't.
Lisa printed, I think someone else printed them out.
Another day in the neighborhood, huh?
We're all human beings.
Hmm?
I said we're all human beings.
Yeah. You know something, on that map, I have Dan making some other changes too, 'cause that was way back when we were proposing projects.
Okay.
So we're handling that whole thing
Right,
over
because
there.
it-
This is
yeah, those are the
ARP funded
Those are all,
projects.
the yeah, I noticed that too. I was more concerned about location than anything else,
Okay.
but, and it was very helpful.
Okay.
I'm making them very simple. I'm doing it very simple, so I'm not, I love your map, because I love all maps.
Okay, all right.
I'm in a good place to like maps, but it's for what we want. I need to, rather than have like exactly where they are, I'm just
Yeah.
taking, just a township map of all the townships, just of the county. I had tax maps, just do a really blank for me.
I guess while we're waiting for this, is there something in particular that you guys are interested in, or some in particular reason we can help you out with something?
And
While we have a little
I'm
gap?
gonna interrupt, because Mr. Masaki's probably the one that's gonna be able to answer their question. I have a
Gotcha.
feeling it's about
Upton House?
Upton. Yeah, I think we probably should wait for Mr. Masaki.
We'll do that then, that's fine.
Commissioners, I got I already talked to Commissioner Cantala Mesa about this. On our Yankee Lake project, even after I cut out that lower portion, you're looking at a high capital charge for that. And I was considering coming back to you and asking for some more ARP funds. But, Chuck Miller in my office, when he went through the cost estimates, the consultant engineer grossly estimated the amount of premium backfill on this thing. Anyway, I'm not gonna need any
Good.
ARP funds to
Yay.
make Yankee Lake come across.
Very good.
But
Good, good.
You were striking
when
fear in
I
my
heard
heart,
that, I was
Mary.
like, oh, man, I was so happy when he found that. It was like, 'cause I was dreading trying to come back to you and ask for some money.
That's good.
Okay,
That's a good deal handling that then.
yeah.
Now, I was made aware yesterday, I get a couple phone calls on this actually, and then last night I got a call from the superintendent of LeBray Schools, and they said that, on Anderson Anthony, right up to Eagle Creek Road, there was some type of an incident between county engineer employees and a landowner. And the engineer pulled the people off the job. There's about 200 yards worth of paving that still needs done, where half the road's paved, the other half's not. Some form of a legal thing. I don't know all the details yet. I did reach out to Randy Smith last night. He texted me back today to contact Jeff Goodman regarding it. But,
It's not
the
on.
superintendent's concern is, yeah, they do have a resident there that they've had issues with themselves. So I don't know if it was a resident that didn't like where they were parking equipment or whatever it was. But for safety reasons, the engineer pulled his people out. But now the buses have to straddle where it's paved and where it's not paved. He said it's a very dangerous situation where the road's narrowed. And he said with school starting, they've had complaints from every parent, everyone at the football game the other night was, the big topic was, what the hell's gonna happen with this road? We need to finish this road. The police chief, I guess, has offered to sit there himself, with his police officers to make sure there isn't an incident with that landowner, so that they can finish the job. And what, Engineer Smith told me via text is, they gotta get it done before it gets less than 60 degrees, or they can't finish it. So hopefully this is something, I'll call him after this is done, and call Jeff Goodman, call the police chief in Warren Township, and try to get this rectified as soon as possible. But the superintendent, his concern is a safety issue with the uneven road, and not only for the students driving in, but the buses, he said, are having a problem wobbling as they get over, if they don't straddle it
Yeah.
correctly, they're half on the pavement, half off, and it's narrow as it is. He said if you got cars coming either direction, there's gonna be a crash there, or some form of, an accident, that he foresees in the very near future. So we gotta do what we can to get the engineer staff back out there and get this done.
Anybody from the engineer staff on?
Not yet, I was hoping someone would be here today. I thought they were, 'cause they were gonna explain some other stuff yesterday too. But, I don't see anyone here yet.
We're waiting
Is
for
there
agendas.
anyone on the phone?
We're
waiting
for agendas. Yeah, they had one here. It's incomplete.
Hold up, guys, hold up. Here. Is there anyone on the phone for the engineer's office at star six?
Okay.
Wait and see, maybe that'll pop in later.
Would you like to allow them to address their questions regarding the,
Well, let's wait until we get our clerk back, just to make sure
Okay.
she's
Sure.
recording
all
everything
right,
correctly.
that's fine,
They're fixing it.
okay,
Yeah, we had a mishap.
yeah.
They put new ones on this.
So far, so. No. Drinking from a fire hose, I know.
Exactly.
That's a little hectic. The three of us could probably tell a lot of stories together.
And counting.
We made progress in a couple things.
I know.
I feel pretty good about that.
It is a good feeling.
Alex, did you hear anything back from Chief Monroe about that $5 badge?
He said he was looking into it with Jody. There's a discrepancy amongst. Yeah, I don't know.
The employee was all fired up about.
Oh, I know.
Yesterday afternoon, but I talked to him and I was like, not a big deal. Like I said, I don't know why Brian's telling you this, I don't know why, and I said, can't clock in with your badge, and use this number, that we,
Yeah, there's a,
they're like, you never gave us, and I think we most certainly, and I had him, I mean, so he was calmed down and he clocked in today, and I think it was all good.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the paper says $5. I don't know what to say.
Like, what's all the instructions given?
Apparently that's not what the process is. Well, then
I don't know.
draft your memo. I don't know what to say.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know either way where we're at with it. I'm like, can you let me know?
Yeah.
And I haven't heard back, so.
And it shouldn't be that difficult of a, either you're charging or you're not.
Well, it says everywhere that they are, but apparently,
But apparently
yeah.
they're not, right?
Did he get his $5 back?
Right.
Okay,
Well, it's sitting in my desk on an.
all right.
So I have it, and either give it to you or I'm giving it to the sheriff.
Yeah, one or the other.
Apologize, everyone. Bear with us here.
Could play the, Jeopardy. I'm waiting. Oh, yeah. Is that, you know, the thing that spins? Like the computer, trying to log on and.
Oh, you mean when it buffers?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
hourglass.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh, I haven't seen the hourglass for a long time.
That's the long, yeah, that's dating.
You're
Yes,
old.
you are.
That may have been on your dial-up.
That was on my phone.
I remember that.
Okay.
That was pre-Windows.
Lengthy but light.
Okay, we'll go ahead and resume here. Thank you for making the additional copies here. Number 6, acknowledge retirement of Mary Lefthers from her position as Chief Deputy Recorder with the Trumbull County Recorder's Office, effective August 31st, 2023. Michelle?
Yeah, I tried to get Mary to come up for the resolution tomorrow. I don't know if she's gonna do that or not. She's been out the last 2 days, sick, so, we're throwing a party for her tomorrow.
Whether she's here or not?
I'm hoping she'll be here, but it's probably just gonna be reading the resolution. As much of a people person as she is, or not scared, but she doesn't like speaking in
She's
front of
shy.
people. Yeah, so, they'll probably just read the resolution and that's at a later time, if that's okay.
We'll see, hopefully she shows.
I'm gonna try to get her up here, but we'll see.
We don't usually read the resolution.
Unless they're here, yeah, we don't read
We
it
don't
unless
usually
Yeah,
read
right.
the whole resolution.
I mean, we'll read the,
Right, exactly. So if I don't, I'll give you a heads up
Okay.
before if I know.
That's fine.
Tell her last paycheck's up here and she has to come here. Okay, number 7, enter into an agreement with Fairfield Computing Systems to utilize online dog licensing system. This service will be $34.80 per year, will include full setup and training of designated county staff. Currently, Fairfield Computing Systems is being utilized to renew existing dog licenses. This service will enable the county to provide county dog owners the ability to register for a new dog license.
I'm gonna let Tim Hannaford speak first, and then I have a few other things I wanna say about it.
All right?
Hanford, Trumbull County IT. This is pretty much just, currently we're on an old outdated system for our dog license. It doesn't provide the ability for, dog owners, new dog owners to submit for a license online. So with this system in place, this will give us the ability to do that. Also, to add to that, the old system was built years ago, possibly even a decade or longer ago, with programmers that were in the data processing department. We currently do not have programmers in the department that work on this system. So this is one piece we need to get off of there, to move forward and provide better services to them.
And I wanted to note too that I found out the hard way that we didn't have anybody, we were actually borrowing somebody from another office holder to help keep it all together with bubble gum and paper clips. And so, we needed to move on it, so we did that. I also wanted to just give you guys a little bit of a heads up. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to give you guys a heads up that we've had a steady decrease in the number of dog licenses annually from 2019 to 2022, which caused a drop in gross revenue from 2019 to 2022 of roughly 13%. It's apparent that we have an issue with compliance, and given that that the commissioners have expressed a desire to relocate the dog pound, there will certainly be a need for more funds than we're currently taking in. The agreement with Fairfield is going to help with that because it expands their current service, as, Mr. Hannaford mentioned, to be able to license, not just renew licenses online, but people will have access to enter new licenses within that. Also, as part of that, we're gonna be able to start collecting email addresses, which will help with renewal notices, which we currently mail out. We'll be able to save postage on those, and also even send out more reminders, which will help with compliance. We also hope to be able to utilize the program outside of the office, doing pop-up license events. And outside of the new licensing program, I wanna recruit more vendors, particularly in the more remote portions of the county, do pop-up events with forums, even where we wouldn't necessarily be able to utilize the service in a setting where we don't have good internet, because it's web-based, but we would do, just the forums in those parts of the county that are more remote. And of course, use our auditor's website and social media to promote and educate the public about licensing. Along those lines, I have kind of looked as sort of a model at what Ashtabula has done. They do a lot of these kinds of events, and they also put a lot out on social media. So we're gonna kind of model it after that. And the other thing I'm going to look at, I need to look at the legalities of it, but I would like to put a donation line on our forms, because I think people that have animals, have dogs, are much more likely to donate to the dog pound. And so if they wanna add a little bit, I think that would be appropriate.
Great idea.
So, do you think that this new software will facilitate 5%?
It's hard to say, but I do think it will. I don't know exact, but I'm sure it will help, because if you make things easier for people, it's always compliant, it always helps compliance. And, I think everybody knows by now that I'm much more of a carrot person than a stick person, so I'd like to make it easy for people, and I try to take a positive approach. And, at some point, I didn't put this on the notes, but at some point, we may have to look at an increase in the licenses, in the cost of the licenses. But before we do that, I'd rather see how we can do on compliance. And a lot of people don't really know that you're supposed to have your dog licensed. So I think getting that word out there, going to events, making it known at like Farm Bureau events. You have a Metro Park event coming up that's geared towards dog owners. So we'll try to have a booth there and, let people know, what they need to do for their pets.
What, just for my own information, maybe some others, is the money that comes in the dog license earmarked
Yep,
for the dog
that's
pound?
exactly what it's for.
So it doesn't just go in our general fund or anything,
It
so
goes,
people buying a dog license actually is helping the dogs.
absolutely. And that's another thing that we need to make sure people understand.
Right.
We get asked a lot, why do I have to license my dog, where's the money go? And that's actually on our website on one of our FAQs for the dog licenses, where's the money go? It goes directly for the dog pound. We're just the administrator of it, we just take care of the program.
All right, very good. Number 8, authorize the planning commission to submit a request to the State of Ohio Appalachian Development Program requesting extension of time for grant number SP 21CS1, BY 2020 Appalachian Development Program, and authorize President of the Board of Commissioners, Denny Malloy, to sign any related documents. The new grant deadline is approved by the State of Ohio Appalachian Development Program is April 30th, 2024. Julie?
An extension in order to accommodate the
Okay.
Yeah, this is the state portion of the ARC for the Yankee Lake project, that's number 8.
Okay. Number 9, authorize planning commission to submit a request for the extension of time for grant number BF 21-1CS1, BY 2021 CDBG Community Allocation Program, be submitted to the Ohio Department of Development, authorize President of Board of Commissioners Denny Malloy to sign any related documents. New grant deadline, if approved, is therefore November 30th, 2023. Which one's this for?
the allocation program that we had for this year is the third cycle. I requested a little bit of extra time to accommodate sections and moderate income households. activities, trying to get the plumbing.
All right, so that's Julie Green, Planning Commission, thank you. Number 10, to award a price proposal to GPD Group, selected as the most qualified engineering firm by the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners on July 12, 2023, to provide professional engineering services associated with PY 2022 CDBG Critical Infrastructure Program, Townsend Avenue Storm Drainage Improvement Program, Liberty Township, in the amount of $80,000, and authorize the Board of Trumbull County Commissioners to enter into, sign, and execute agreement and any related documents.
This was an RFQ process funded through storm drainage issues. Already submitted our agreement forms to the prosecutor's office and GPD Group. Things ready to go.
All right. Number 11, to approve or deny construction of the Elm Road Water Improvements Project, County Project Number 2, W16, located in Bezetta Township. The public hearing for this project was held August 3rd, 2023. Results of the public hearing and public comment period indicate 35% of the property owners are opposed to said project, 64% are in support based on benefited frontage. Now, I did see, we got a prosecutor's opinion on this, that I received via email, where he basically reiterated, we didn't even have to do a, petition for this.
Yes.
And so whether the petition that was started years ago and continues now is valid or not is a moot point.
Yes.
We did get support, there were signatures and there was a petition from the trustees of late that they want it. I know the trustees are solid behind it and they have their own resolution in support of this. There are some people that were against it and their main reasoning was cost, the church especially, and they were the ones that had questioned the petition. So the prosecutor said he didn't see any legal, loopholes regarding the petition because we didn't need to do it anyway. We did it out of a basically good neighbor, policy of not doing a project that's not wanted. Well, this clearly was wanted, somewhere along the line, and it was wanted lately by the trustees, and they got the signatures from enough residents that they do want it. And it is unfortunate, I know cost-wise, but we need to progress in this county, and we need to move forward, and one of the things we all talk about is infrastructure, water and sewer being the basic necessities. This is a chance to provide water to people that don't have it, that have well water now. There are projects on Elm Road that are in the pipeline for economic development. There are people that do want this for their own health and reasonings, and there are some people too that are okay with the well water and, you know, feel this is gonna be a cost burden, but,
They don't have to tie in either.
they don't have to tie in with this immediately, especially the property owners that own property where there is no property there yet or whatever, no house or anything like that, it could be passed on to the next people. So it can be, we do have a very good program where it could be financed on your tax bill, which is a benefit, to the citizens. It's gonna increase property values. You know, I know if we're gonna move forward, we're gonna meet challenges like this in every township and in every municipality or anywhere we go. When we try to expand water, there's gonna be people that, because of cost, just, they want it done free. If you're gonna do it free, if there's a cost, they don't want it. But for the greater good of all the citizens, I think we need to keep moving forward with projects like this. I'm in favor of this project. 35%, is below the threshold, you know, so it does show that by our standards, what we do, that it is wanted. And I know their trustees are solidly in favor of it. They're the ones that started this. We didn't just go to Bezetta and say, we're gonna make you get water and we're gonna make you pay for it. Residents came to us initially, and then the trustees came to us with a petition asking, county, please get us water, please extend your water. So we are reacting to a request. We're not Mary Newbrow and Matt Blair and Morrow and Denny forcing water on people, making them pay a bill. That's not the case in this situation at all, and in fact, we're expending resources to do this, so we could be growing in other areas. This is the one that wanted it the most, this is the one that came to us and said, please, commissioners, help us. So, I think by doing this, we're doing our job, we're doing what the taxpayers want us to do and the residents there want us to do, and I commend the Gary on finding a cheaper route. Yeah, this could have been a lot more costly had we had to create a new water district,
Yes.
by you combining the districts as you did now, and then tying into the Bristol Champion line instead of creating our own line.
Yes.
It is, behind the scenes, people don't see it right away, but you were saving them, potentially thousands of dollars on this project tying in by doing what you did
Yes.
already.
Yes.
So, I see it from the meetings that we've had, you did your due diligence on this thing, and people are gonna benefit because of it.
Just to echo those sentiments, Gary, in my years here, this is, I think, the only second water project that we've passed. I mean, as far as,
This is the only one that passes an assessment project.
with an assessment, yeah, 'cause the
Yes.
blueprint did have an
A
assessment.
blueprint with a different kind of animal, yes.
And I think it's a one-time thing that we're able to do here, and as Commissioner mentioned, not only are the trustees behind it, but we were able to infuse that ARP money to bring those costs down,
Yes.
to make this affordable for those people in that area, and to really, hopefully, in the future, you look at that corridor, you know, there's the potential for a lot of development there, and, future development, and you need to have water and sewer out there to do that. This is the first but necessary step in order to do that, so I think it's, happy that we finally passed an assessment water project. I honestly had my doubts going into it. I thought that there would be more, naysayers, but I think that at the end of the day, the majority of the landowners, saw the
Benefit.
the benefit and not so much you know, this is what's gonna happen now, but look at what can happen in the future. They had the foresight to look ahead and say, well, this is gonna increase my property value, this is gonna lead to more development along this corridor, could lead to, you know, a lot of different, obviously better public health and safety. So they see the benefit of that, and they're willing to move forward. I wanna commend you on the staff on a job well done, and for the board, for putting our money where our mouth is and supporting projects like this that are so desperately needed.
All right, well, thank you both, commissioners, for your recognition on the hard work done by our department to make this happen. And it couldn't have been done without, your generosity regarding the ARP funds. I can say that this project would have lingered, and I don't think it would have ever been built if we weren't able to infuse those ARP funds into it.
And this is that critical Mosquito Lake region. This will tie in that we have water all the way up to the fairgrounds and all the way up into Cortland on the south end of the lake.
Yes.
And that's a start, and this is the second largest lake in the state, and one of the things I vowed when I got here is to get water and sewer to the people around the lake and get it up to Mecca so the people up there can have a chance at some type of recreation, economic stimulus, where they can have a hotel, a lodge, restaurant, something on the lake, that's gonna benefit the citizens there. Right now, the biggest restricting factor they have is bad water and no sewer, and, you know, so we need to keep looking for, you know, this ARP thing was a one-time blessing. We need to work with our congressman's office, we need to work with our state reps, our state senators, to find more money, more grant money, we can earmark to do projects like this. And that's one of the things that I'll be working with, as long as the voters have me here, is to try to find money so you can continue to do projects like this, to continue that loop around Mosquito Lake.
Yes.
So, of course, we don't wanna develop it like it's an amusement park, but we need to do something for the people there, because right now there's a dire need, for lodging, there's a dire need for temporary recreational lodging, and, we're losing campgrounds instead of gaining them, we're losing cabins instead of gaining them, and this is something that will stimulate that and help people be able to recreate here and spend their money in our county longer. Okay. Number 12. Grant permission to the county engineer to close the road listed, Braceville Robinson Road, and that's gonna be for a 5K race on August 26th from 8 to noon, located in Braceville. We wish them the best of luck with that. Number 13, to concur with the Trumbull County engineer to grant the special hauling permits to haul steel coils on Trumbull County roadways for the companies listed below, Gero Transportation. That's a common name. Concur with Trumbull County Engineer to grant the right-of-way permits requested by the companies listed. A to Z Dependable Services, A&A Construction, Byler's Business Services, Eastern Natural Gas. Number 15, concur with Trumbull County Engineer to grant special annual supplier fleet permits. Cindy Crump, Enderly and Sons, Schoonover Trucking, Holtz Trucking, Jim's Trucking and Excavating, Duke Sanitary Service, HF Everett Gas and Oil. We appreciate those people getting their permits and not just chancing it on the roads, and, working with our engineer's office to do it the right way. Number 16, to approve a school resource officer agreement between Trumbull County Commissioners, Sheriff Monroe, and JFK Catholic High School, or Catholic Schools. This will be for 23-24 fiscal year, in the amount of $63,578.58. Mason?
Yeah, Major Villanueva wasn't able to be here, but, only information I'm gonna pass on that is because it's a parochial school, it's not a school district, it required a special contract that was written between the prosecutor's office and JFK's attorneys. So this has, already been run through the prosecutor and their attorney.
No, I did meet with you, I'm sorry, I met with, Major Palmer and the sheriff last week and went over cost of these things to make sure that all the costs are covered in this. And, I was pleased to see that even things all the way down to uniform allotments and everything else are written into this cost. So by having a resource officer, we're doing the best that we can to recoup the money and not take it more out of our general fund or add more burden to the sheriff's department or county commissioner's budget. That, JFK in this situation is pretty much covering every cost of that officer being there, without us having to eat anything. So I appreciate that presentation the sheriff gave me. Number 17, approve a school resources agreement between Trumbull County Sheriff, Trumbull County Career and Technical Center, TCTC, for school year 23-24. And this one here is for $127,157. And this is, for 2 deputies, with the size of the school, and, they're requesting 2. Again, I imagine.
Basically, this is, just renewing the contract that's already in place.
Okay.
You know, maybe the prices, but.
Today's day and age, we have to have cops in schools. We gotta do everything we can to keep them safe, and, this is a no-brainer here, and as we're we're recouping costs on it. I'm glad we have the manpower to be able to do that. There's a lot of departments can't find workers. Fortunately, we must have enough deputies that wanna do this, that we're able to fulfill the need.
Yeah, which brings about a note in the previous item, JFK schools are located in the city of Warren, and they first approached the city of Warren, they did not have the staffing levels to be able to provide that, so they were directed to come to the sheriff's office, and the sheriff did reach out to Chief Trumbull and make sure he was fine with the sheriff's office handling that detail inside the city.
That was Major Dan Mason. Okay, so that's 17. Number 18, to approve a request, an extension of the inmate food service provider contract with Trinity Services Group, Inc. for the Trumbull County Jail for an additional 8-week period. Trinity Service Group has requested a slight modification of the conditions of the agreement dated July 8th, 2021. And they've requested an opinion from the prosecutor's office on how to proceed with renewing the contract.
Basically, we signed up for a 2-year contract with the option of 2 one-year extensions. This would be the first 1-year extension. Last year, if you recall, they were having problems that the contract included providing the food and the workers to cook. Since they were having a hard time finding workers, like in most places, we opted to go back to county cooks. We were able to staff our kitchen, so it reduced the price in food. explained is that there's been a increase in the food, and when they entered the one-year agreement, they didn't come into an agreement for the first-year option, so I'm working with the prosecutor now to see what we can work out for a price, and if he feels that that would be within the realm of still within the original contract, or if it would need to go back out to bid, which is why we're asking for the 8. We do have to go out to bid, it would put time to put an RFP together, and
So this is just, all you're asking for here is just to extend what we have already for 8 more weeks, till you figure out what the new deal is gonna be, and then you'll come back to us with the new prices and the new contract,
that's,
approved by the prosecutor at that time.
that is correct.
Okay, that clears things up a lot, 'cause that one rang a bell there for a second, but I'm glad you clarified that. Again, that was, Major Dan Mason with the Sheriff's Department. Okay, number 19, to award the lowest and best bid is submitted by Integrated Voting Systems for the furnishing of all labor, materials, and equipment necessary to furnish delivery and printing of optical scan paper ballots for the use of Trumbull County Board of Elections, 4 elections through the primary of 2025. The cost per ballot is as follows: 1 page, 19 cents, 2 pages, 19 cents a ballot, 3 pages, 38 cents a ballot. The maximum cost per election will be $53,200. The cost of 4 elections will be an approximate amount, $212,800, to be paid from fund number, and enter into contract with Integrated Voting Systems for said purchase. Stephanie Penrose with the Board of Elections.
Well, I wanna point out, we had 2 bids come in for this particular, contract. And you'll note, the cost for 1 page is lower on, our election IQ. However, historically, we have a 2-page ballot, which is a front and a back. Very, very rarely do we have a 1-page ballot. It was only the last 2 August elections. So Integrated Voting Systems does come in at a lower cost for a 2-page front and back ballot. We also have a history with them. They were our last, contract holder. They are very responsive. They hand deliver the ballot. They are lowest and best, in our opinion, our board's opinion. So we recommend that you give the contract to Integrated Voting Systems. It is.
Thank you.
Mark, any questions?
No, pretty self-explanatory.
I definitely don't claim to know anything more about ballot stuff than Stephanie does, so I'm gonna defer to her professional judgment on this. Yeah, Integrated Voting Systems it is, in my opinion. All right, that concludes the regular agenda already. Quicker than I thought it would be. Do we have anything for the greater good from the department heads first? Stacy, yes. Stacy Bond, 911.
Yep. Just a heads up, we did have 4 applicants, recently. 3 of them are going through the background process right now, the investigations. 1 background came back, and they're gonna be recommended for the testing. So hopefully we'll be making a recommendation to hire, hopefully all 4 of those to get us back up to somewhere close to normal numbers. With gaining possibly 4, we'll be losing 1 soon. He's taking another position within the county. We looked at a couple possible 911 building sites a couple weeks ago. We have a couple more we're gonna be looking at and working through the feasibility study and that kind of paperwork with the prosecutor's office. And then we are also currently looking at the funding mechanism for contracts of what we're charging entities that we do services for, as those have not been updated in the last 10 years. So, we're hoping to get those in front of you guys here within the next few weeks. Working through the prosecutor's office with those as well. And we're hoping to get those out to all the entities that we do build by September. That way they can get them, in preparation for their budget hearings to prepare for 2024.
One other thing we had talked about before you got here a little bit, and I just wanna revise is encourage you to work with, the auditor and IT department to establish some form of a marketing campaign for 911. Because of the past issues we've had there, because of the morale issues, because of the lack of, retention and lack of bringing in good candidates, we had discussed before, but that's the department we might need to market a little bit as far as promoting the positives of the job, promoting the change that we have now under new management, under new leadership, something to try to spark, interest, to get more candidates and better candidates.
We've kind of already started to do that, worked with Tim and his staff this morning. Our website's in the process of being upgraded right now and updated. We did change the logo, to a new kind of more updated logo, which we'll kind of be pushing out to everybody too, to see. Trying to just, like you said, small changes for little morale boosters of taking steps in the right direction. It's obvious to see why things have been kind of on a decline for years. Patty's been working her butt off, doing the job of 3 people, and just me getting in there and being able to take a little bit of a load off of her, and us kind of working hand in hand, just kind of tag teaming what we can. We're already starting to make a little bit of progress on things that she's been trying to work on for a while that just hasn't had the time to do. So I think, moving forward, I think we're gonna be able to plow through these things and hopefully start turning the corner, so.
I think the logo idea is fantastic. I know just, if you look at, through history, the New England Patriots turned their logo on their helmet, and then they won the Super Bowl 2 years later. The Broncos changed their logo, and then they won the Super Bowl 2 years
I
after that.
don't know if you can see it too good on my phone, but.
Browns keep the same damn logo forever.
That's exactly.
I hope they keep that logo forever too.
I don't know if you guys can kind of see it on here, but this is kind of what we went with. So the fire, obviously, for fire, you know, sheriff, police, EMS, with 911 in the center. Kind of new, updated, kind of a little more modern look. We're working with, Minuteman Press. Got a quote for him to do a new sign to hang on the building. You know, kind of put lipstick on a pig, but, we're trying the best we can to give her a new look and update her a little bit. So she's,
And hopefully that bleeds off the employees too, that they see there's moves making, they're part of it.
right. I know they're excited just about the logo. A lot of them are like, hey, can we make mouse pads with the logo on them? I'm like, knock yourself out, you know what I mean? So just little things like that that'll buy us a little time to hopefully make some bigger changes, so.
Good, fantastic. Yeah. Okay, anybody else from the departments? Yes, Julie
Julie
Green.
Green, Trumbull County Planning Commission. Too tired to get up. Can you hear me over there?
Julie, you look like you had a rough week already, it's only Tuesday.
I've had a rough summer, so that's why we have all these extensions. But anyhow, I wanted to update you on the, solar and wind, large solar and wind survey that was sent out. So far, we've got, responses back from about 1/3 of the township areas. A little bit more than half said that they would be interested in the commissioners hosting some sort of informational seminar or workshop. I did reach out to Becky Whitman. I'm still awaiting her response on whether or not that's something that she would wanna host. I believe she said she already had somebody lined up for the OTA, meeting in September, so it would have to be a special meeting. And, you know, we're certainly willing to, coordinate it, but I don't know if the commissioners are thinking that perhaps you would like to, maybe call in some real experts. I would make some recommendations on the people that gave their presentation at the June 30th Planning and Zoning Conference, who are, experts on large solar and wind farms. So that's one thing, and then, I would say probably, at least 7 or 8 of the townships have indicated that they would like to have all of their township land restricted. And, we did send a follow-up email because we have some questions about whether or not, they would need to pass a resolution or be able to in a timely manner. And so I sent a follow-up email out that stated that, you know, we're not asking them to make a decision or consensus. That would have to be done at a public meeting, and so we extended the time for them so that they could be able to discuss it. So those are the updates. I do think it's a good idea to have a, discussion, because there are big differences, large and the small. Important to clarify those things.
Okay. Alexander, you got any updates on hiring positions in the commissioner's office or HR?
Yes, we're posting the journal clerk position today, so that'll be posted, and HR will take the lead, and we will actually pre-screen every single applicant that comes through. The last time we had 341 applicants, we just can't, I mean, I welcome 341 applicants always, but the last time, unfortunately, there was no, HR here to help the office pre-screen. So that left 341 applicants on their plate to go through themselves and interview. That's not how I run the department now. HR is always here to pre-screen. I have grids that I use, I have rubrics that I use, I pre-screen everything that I can, as long as I know your individual entities well enough, right? I mean, there's some departments that, obviously, I've had to learn really quickly, like 911, but I go into sanitary, I've gone in there, I've viewed their sites. I mean, I'm really interested in learning what everybody does, so that way I can help you as HR do those things. So we'll pre-screen. I actually went to the dog pound too. So we'll pre-screen, all the applicants and hopefully come up with the top 3 for Lisa, Chrissy, and myself to interview. And Becky, if she wants to, or she can interview on my behalf, depending on my schedule. So
Okay.
hopefully we'll get that done sooner than later. We had to obviously post a job for 15 days. That's what our current personnel policy says. So it'll post today through September 5th, I believe. And then we will quickly, get those rolling, just as quickly as I did my HR coordinator job. So that's been posted for 15 days. That came down two Fridays ago, and I have them pre-screened, and I'm ready to, I've actually got all of my, I'm gonna interview 8 people, because it is an external position, and 8 people scored right around each other, so I feel that's the best thing to do. Those are all scheduled for this Thursday and Friday. So I will have a potential HR coordinator for you guys next week, maybe the week after, depending on how quick I get through everything. Obviously, Casey, thank you for that update. I just checked on them yesterday. They're looking for candidates, as she said. Mary Beth Pumphrey is doing great at Elderly Affairs. Kudos to her. I reach out to her almost every week, every other week, just to check in and see how things are going. They do tentatively actually have funding now through their thinking December. So, yeah, so great for her. We're looking closely at that. She had a couple HR questions. We're looking through some things. So she's doing great. So thank you to her. And I think that's it from a hiring perspective. Bob keeps us pretty busy posting jobs every other day. Every other day.
Every other day.
No pun intended. Auditor Yoder has a job. We just are looking to post for her. We're just posting jobs left and right. So Trumbull County is the place to be.
What do we have as far as the public, if they wanna see what county jobs are available, what's their go-to site? Where do they go to see?
The Human Resources site, we're currently reworking that too with IT. I'm working with Lisa Hobians, in my downtime. I have about 90% of it done. But yeah, I'm reworking the HR website to make it more user-friendly. Right now, no offense to anybody, it looks like little Weeble people, like those little, do you remember those little, those little like wooden blocks, like, that you used to put in the little houses, and they kinda like weeble wobbled? Yeah, they look like those. But they don't fall down, that's right. Fisher Price, that was the word I was looking for. They kinda look like little Fisher Price people. So we're reworking that to make it look more like, Auditor Yoder's website. I had redone JFS before I left. I knew what I wanted, I had a vision, I just need to get it implemented, so working on that. And hopefully it's a beautiful website that just draws everybody's attention to Trumbull County jobs, so.
And just, Martha Yoder, auditor, just so you know, our jobs that we posted them internally, within our office, we have to because of the union, and then throughout the county, but we also concurrently post on Indeed, because, and I kind of defer to Mr. Hannaford on that because he has more experience with it and, has had really good luck. We've actually, the most recent position, what are we up to? Over 20 applicants on that.
Just in a day.
Yeah.
So, they're keeping us really busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've even actually partnered up with the sheriff and posted their last civil clerk job. So, and we got, I think 280 some applications for that through our HR that we've passed off to them. So we're really trying to kind of make HR that support system. Let us help you. We know basically what we're looking for in people. Let us help you.
Amazing. Thank you.
Sure. Oh,
Okay.
if it's okay.
Yep.
Alexandra DiVincenzi, Bush Human Resources, obviously. I did send out an SOP yesterday. There's some contingency on it. Department heads, Lisa's new in her role. She has been the assistant clerk, for a long time, but with that being said, she's new at what she's doing. We do need to allow her some grace and some time to learn. So I am literally pleading to all department heads to please look over the SOP that was sent out yesterday. It's not a new process. There's some controversy there with another board member. It's not a new process. It's always been the process. I think that what's happened is that we've kind of fell off of it a little bit. You know, we got used to Paula, and Paula was amazing, and Paula was like, sure, just throw it over to me and I'll get it on. But you guys, we have somebody new now in this position, and how would we feel as departments if we were just throwing emails over left and right with no explanations? So I'm imploring, and honestly, at this point, pleading with all department heads, please provide her with all the information that we're asking for, so that way she can properly do her job, the commissioners have what they need to operate, and we're all on the same page. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Okay, Bill Hart is, not here, but, basement, AVI is ready to move the new marketplace in the last week of September.
Okay.
And they're ready for grand opening the end of September. I'd like to, when we do that, have some department heads there, and also, Mr. Pavlis from AVI, do the ribbon cutting. When we do that, I'll be in contact with the company selling around to come get their machines, paint it down there. They're gonna do the floors, finishing the ceiling, so we should have that ready this time next month. Also, I talked to the mayor, and we need to figure out across the street, when we had the Italian Fest, I brought it up last week a little bit, the sidewalks there are just atrocious as far as the bumps there. There was a couple people we saw that had walkers, wheelchairs, that just couldn't go down the sidewalk, and it was wet, they couldn't go through the grass. So I know there was some discussion on title search of, you know, we own the building, who maintains the property around it? We have to figure that sidewalk that runs behind it, if that's clearly Warren City's, if that's ours, if that's a partnership thing we can do to get that fixed. But before we have any other festivals there, that needs to be fixed. We're gonna get ourselves in a big lawsuit of somebody stepping in one of those cracks or hitting that uneven sidewalk somehow and getting hurt. I watched at least 3 people go down, like, to the ground, just from the booth that we had out there last week, and we can't have that. We gotta fix that. So I'll be working with Bill on that when he gets back, and then on the basement also, Beth Carmichael, she's doing okay. She's had some knee issues and wrist issues, and she'll be working with us to decorate downstairs. Jim Misaki, since we put the deadline of September 15th, have we seen an increase in applications, or how's the flow?
I gave you an updated sheet, Martha.
Oh, pass those down.
Oh.
Just a few since then, and we encourage, I know there are some departments, I'm seeing
I
at
know.
their meeting notes
Not much.
in the paper, that they are working on some other,
Yeah, you'll probably get a last minute rush.
yes, and that's okay, that's okay.
And I've contacted some other people to update and if they want any changes and the previous applications already filed, get them in. Had some inquiries.
If we wanna, I know that we have some people here who have a question, and they're on that one, so why don't we deal with that, and then I'll deal with the others first.
Sure, sure.
Left in-house.
Okay, you guys have the floor. We need your name and who you represent for the record.
I'm Ken Conklin. I represent the Upton Association. Marty Flynn is president, I'm vice president. We submitted an application for a new heating system. I have to share with you, we had a bus tour, we have many bus tours coming in. 60 people come in from the Canton area. A week prior to their arrival, our main furnace died. Nothing. Throw heat, wouldn't throw air. People coming to Warren, Ohio. So we dug down in our money and we installed a furnace. 3 more furnaces to go. The next one, we are not to run it this winter. They're asking, is there an update on our request?
All we can say is we put a pause on everything till September 15th, all requests. And then after September 15th, we're gonna get together as a board, separate them, prioritize, and Jim, where was that one in the process?
Oh, that was submitted to legal counsel, I think she approved them.
Okay, those ones will be taken care of first. Now, if they've already been through legal, then we can decide on those ones first. We don't have to wait for her opinion. So that one, when the floodgates open back up again, those will be one of the first ones that we entertain. With the amount we were looking at, I think it was like 58,000 or something.
Now it's up to 64.
Okay. I wouldn't see myself having a problem with that one. I think you were with me when we submitted it forward, that was kind of an easy one to fulfill. So I guess I give my commitment that I'll support that, and Commissioner Cannon
As do I, as do I.
shaking his head. So once the things do open up, then you'll be one of the first ones to get checked.
I just wanted to share with you, I was your dad's banker for years. So, you can be assured, I will spend money.
Marla just abstain now, no? Your money's out.
I have a lot of respect for you, Dad.
Oh,
Thank you.
means the world.
Well, I'm glad you said you supported it before he told you that. You saw that, Ray, you said it first. Marla went first. All right.
Put them in.
Thank you both for being here, too. And it's great, we've had some events there, we went to Martha's inauguration there and stuff, it was, you get quite a place there, and something that all residents should see and be proud of.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to come for a tour to hear the whole history of the house.
Oh, believe me,
We'll definitely do
with
that.
Martha there, she's kinda been talking about it for a year, you know, putting it in our ear beats
We
at a
don't
time.
charge you for tours.
All right.
You might wanna mention the event Saturday. The event Saturday,
Oh,
Women's
yes,
Equality Day.
yes, on Saturday at noon, if you're free, please come to the Women's Park for the 103rd anniversary of Women's Equality Day.
Oh.
And the program will be at noon. It will be a wonderful musical event with a wonderful speaker, and then light refreshments at the Upton House. So noon on Saturday.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Music is from Carnegie Hall.
I did sing at Constitution Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a theme.
Are you singing?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm going.
Wow, it's gonna be wonderful.
Very good. Okay,
Warm up the place right now.
Zach.
Well, yeah.
I wasn't quite done with
Okay.
the other part.
Oh, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Just tie a bow on all the ARPA stuff, okay? So I did give you guys a revised, you have Mr. Nasaki's revised spreadsheet and my revised spreadsheet with the allocations in your packet. The only changes on that sheet, are the two of the sanitary engineer projects we renamed to be consistent with what the department was naming them. That was one of the things, not just with that, but with throughout, as we've been trying to get all of this organized, is we found that sometimes people would call the same thing two different names, and that can add to confusion, so we wanted that to be consistent. So, on your sheet, Braceville Champion Water Improvement Design was previously noted as State Road Water Regionalization Project, and McKinley Heights Phase 3 Sanitary Sewer Improvements was previously noted as Kane Drive.
Crane Drive.
Well, on the spreadsheet, it said Kane, that's why,
Okay.
yeah, so it was on the spreadsheet that way, but it also was also called Crane Drive, so we had kind of three things. I have a draft of the promised map done, but I do have a couple of questions for the commissioners so that, I get some clarification on what you would like to include. On the Ridgeview Tours request that was approved, do you want that designated as Mesopotamia? Because it seems to me more than countywide, right? Good.
Same
Right,
with,
and
same
then-
with Healthy Hearts and Paws, that benefits the entire.
Right, absolutely.
Just
And-
because of where they're located, but you don't want we don't want that area to look like they've absorbed the request
Right.
or got a grant
That's,
already.
I just wanna make sure we were clear and we were all on the same page on that. And then, I thought about, just to kinda help you guys, as you make these decisions, and, a listing maybe to the side of the map, projects that are countywide, and I'm talking about projects that actually benefit the county at large. I'm not talking about things like, the chiller at the courthouse and things like that. I'm talking about things like the Marks Tower, the loan programs, the Ridgeview Tours, the Healthy Arts. Do you want like a listing along the
That would
side,
be
just to
great.
help you?
That would be great.
Sure. And then one final thing is that I ask that the commissioners clarify the terms of the pause with legal counsel, specifically, that the pause is not for those projects that were already approved, We have specific questions with regard to the Cortland Community Foundation that we need answered in order to finish processing the grant.
No, absolutely. The ones that we've already approved, we still need to
Okay.
move forward on those.
All right, so we have a recording that we can share with,
They'll formalize that for,
Some way.
council.
yes.
Do we wanna ask that formally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, that one we need to get moving on, because that one we already approved it,
Right,
they approved the
right.
check, and then the problem came after
Right,
the
and,
approval.
and I explained to Mr. Zhang from Cortland that
Yes.
yesterday we did a
And
little
Jim, you need to,
speaker
you
call.
can clear that up with Tanya, because I've seen emails back and forth where she said, I can't do
Well,
anything,
we
we're on
need
hold.
to-
Well, that's why we need it from you guys.
Have you clarify it,
So,
if you would
at a-
like an
at this
opinion.
meeting?
Yeah.
I'm in favor of that opinion.
I am
If you
too.
would like an opinion
Right.
on that, technical issue regarding.
Correct. Get that technical
Cortland
issue
Community
rectified with
Foundation.
whatever it is. We've already approved that grant,
Right,
and if that's the parent company in that one instance there,
right.
and that's where the check needs to go,
Right.
I'm totally okay with that,
Right.
as long as Tanya's okay with that. But she's ruling on that, let her finish out with her ruling on that.
Okay. We're good?
And if there's any other ones that are like that, of course, back and forth with, they haven't got the check yet, we're waiting to finish those.
Some kind of technical.
This is just new
Right.
approvals and, or submissions.
Pending, yeah.
We just wanted to make sure it was clear with, Martha Yoder, auditor. We just wanted to make sure it was clear to her, because she has had questions on whether she could answer those questions. So we wanted to make sure we could.
And once again, I wanna encourage all the townships, the people that are sitting on grants, to get them in. Don't miss this deadline. Not that we're not gonna cut any checks after that, but that's kinda round one, and as we go through it, if there's money left over, we'll address later. But I'd like to see all the good requests come in first, and when we prioritize, we can do it fairly and compare apples to apples and not have stragglers later that should have been considered earlier.
And I have one last thing, I was gonna hold it, but I think, 'cause it is ARPA related with regard to the sunshine laws. Last week, at the regular meeting, it was stated that, somehow we had not responded to a request, from the Farmington Township trustees and fiscal officer for the information that we had been presenting. After that meeting, I received, both a phone call from Barb Scott, who's the fiscal officer at Farmington, and an email, which she said that I could forward to you guys, and I wanna make sure you had gotten that. And, she also said that, verbally to me, that if I wanted to read that, I could. If you guys want me to read the little blurb today, or if you want me to wait until tomorrow, when the other commissioner is here, I don't care. But, whatever you want, because I do want it clear that we didn't violate any sunshine laws, and
If you have it now, let's read it now, in
I
case you
do.
listen, and it could be
That's
a
fine,
dead
then
issue,
it's done.
instead of rehashing it
Sure.
again tomorrow.
All right, please, this is from Barb Scott, Farmington Fiscal Officer, to me. Please share this email with Commissioner Cantal Mesa and Commissioner Malloy. I did not state to Commissioner Frenchco that I did not get the information I was looking for, nor did I state that I did not get what I requested. My request and my response to Commissioner Frenchco was not a complaint. We were looking for information, which you provided promptly. There was no violation of the sunshine law requirement regarding my records request.
That should clear that up, hopefully.
Commissioners,
Yes.
real quick before you move off of ARPA, the more I'm hearing about, like, a lot of these historical societies, a lot of them do benefit, and I'm just asking you to maybe look at this if you haven't. A lot of them do free school visits to Trumbull County Schools, correct? So therefore, they're benefiting not just Warren or just, Bristolville or wherever these historical societies are, but they are benefiting Trumbull County children as a whole and education. So I would implore you to also look at that when you're looking at those categories, that maybe they could benefit more of a larger area in Trumbull County than just where they're physically located. That's all I wanted to say.
And
Thank you.
when
I remember going there when I was a little kid, and it meant a lot to me.
Well,
So that's all I can
Not to
say.
mention the event they're having this weekend,
Absolutely,
it's gonna draw
people
from
in,
all over.
absolutely.
And
And
when
I think once we hit that nonprofit category, inherently, that's what they do.
Yeah,
And that's something that we kinda understand, that they are reaching out in the community, they're doing more than just helping themselves,
absolutely.
or they wouldn't have the status they have.
Just when you're making your math,
well, the map that I'm doing is of what we've already allocated, so
Okay.
they know where it's already gone. But I will, once I get done with that, I will try to work with Mr. Masaki to make sure that we identify on his spreadsheet and add to that where the impact is for all the remainder ones. I just wanted to get that other one done and out of the way for you guys, so you could see what you've already done.
great job on it. This is more than what I would expect. Yes, Julie?
Since we're on ARP, update on the Trumbull County Planning Commission roof project, since Bill's not here. I've been working with Rollo on that, putting that out for bid. It's currently out for bid, and we had a pre-bid meeting on Thursday. We had good attendance there. An addendum will be issued with the minutes probably today. The bid opening scheduled August 31st. Hopeful to get, good bids for that project. And the ARP, the FEMA floodplain studies that we've been working towards for a fairly long time. It's my understanding that I'll be getting a final scope of work from MS Consultants this week. And I'll be sending, they also were given a draft agreement probably a month ago. And so they're still reviewing that. I think they're done reviewing that, so I'll forward that to the prosecutor's office. And Gary was good enough to send me a draft of what he's been using for AR sanitary sewer project, so hopefully that template works for. As we are able to, we'll get that on the agenda for award. I just wanted to see if it's okay for me to communicate directly with Tanya, or if I have to go.
You have to go through Jim.
Jim.
Yeah, because she's tried that before, and she's been inundated with different
Okay.
people. It just makes it easier to have one point person, so we can go through Jim.
I think I was requesting.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay,
Yeah, she doesn't wanna,
she's made that
I
clear.
understand.
yeah,
I understand.
it's
I
a
just wanted
process,
to
we have a
know,
process.
And she probably wouldn't answer right away. She would reach out to us for the thing, so
Right.
just keep it standardized.
So I'll probably send you the
Yeah.
draft agreement today. I think I saw an email from them today, so I have it ready for our legal counsel review, and then as far as I know, she's only concerned with this, the contract addendum policy based on our last review.
And you'd want that as part of your request, that she can, even though there's a pause, that she can review that matter?
Sure,
Yes.
Legal counsel, that is.
yes.
For the record.
Sorry, Zach.
No, that's okay. No, actually, while we're on about requests, the Mex Parks request for the, Baldwin Creek Bridge rehabilitation, I just, where that was at in the process.
It has not been pushed forward to the attorney or anything yet.
Okay, thank you. For this clarification. Reason I'm here today is, Roy, I said I'd come talk to you about the additional request for additional funds to hire a office manager for, as the planning commission is losing me, we are as well with the park district. She was our park secretary for over 30 years. So after work, she would do our bills and do all that kind of stuff, and at the rate we were paying her, we're not gonna be able to hire someone else. So we're looking at an additional $11,000 next year, bringing in somebody part-time for about 12 hours a week, to be able to pay the bills, do board and meeting minutes, be able to be at the park office as well, bouncing around the meetings and trying to get extra grant funds and that kind of stuff. So we need to know, done at the end of October, but we need to know now for next year, so we're able to hire in potentially somebody this year. That's why I was here to,
Cheaper to hire somebody or contract that out? Like,
so we contracted it out before, but, it'd be nice to actually have a contracting somebody doesn't guarantee that they're gonna be in the office. Have anybody in my office right now?
From an HR perspective, typically not to, of course, it's always cheaper to contract because we're not paying the insurance, we're not
Sure.
paying a lot of other, of the fringe benefits that we have. However, I just wanted to put that out there, but I can see,
a need.
I
but
mean,
so you're, just so you're aware, yeah, it's always
We can't have a
cheaper.
department with one employee.
Right.
That's just when I first came into this and saw, we have a one-employee department, and even the employees talking about we're losing, she was getting paid like $200 a month or something stupid, ridiculous, that she just did kind of out of the kindness of her heart, worked there for 30 years for peanuts. So, I do see the need with that department. At the same time, you know, we had talked when I was there too, we need to free you up somehow. You should be getting grants like all the other parks in the state do. You need time freed up so you can chase grants, chase grant applications. Maybe this new position could include that, if we can find someone strong that has a background in grant writing, that could fill that void to help for the department, pay for her position herself, or himself, is the direction that I would go. And look at, you know, seems to be the big void. When you look at all the other public entities like that, a lot of them function on grant money, you know, from different, societies and agencies and, things involved in wildlife and parks and recreation. And that seems to be lacking, I guess, here, and I think it's because he's busy fixing picnic tables and stuff instead of chasing grant money down. And unfortunately, when you have a one-person department, he's the jack of all trades. So I think we need to really look at that department, really look at the needs there. We need to free something up, because there is a lot of this county that's under park management and Metro Parks supervision, and I think it's absolutely much more than one human can do. Julie?
Julie Green, Trumbull County. I'd also like to mention that securing these grant funds, as you know, requires revenue at the local level. And so we also, because of the failed levy, Planning Commission historically has worked closely with the Metro. That is something that is lacking, having local funding as a commitment, and also saying that that's something that, and I don't know if Zach wants to mention this.
About 2,300 acres. 7 parks, miles worth of feed bike trail. And then we have, you know, hiding areas, you know, across the, you know, county as well.
And the stuff on the river, especially.
Yeah, correct, and we have parks along the river as well.
Being recorded, and I don't wanna be recorded.
It's a public meeting.
You can grab a seat and hear what we're hearing if you'd like.
I would like to have the backup information. Will you give it to me after?
Again, Commissioner, you're welcome to join the meeting if you want, but we're not gonna start a whole nother meeting with all our efforts.
I don't
towards
wanna
you.
just hold, I wanna review everything. So, can everyone, before they leave, at least drop off the information, given the fact that the Karen Park is going to, find that to me? Can you drop off, I think I might have.
I think you have emails pretty much from everyone. Most of the stuff we went over today, I received emails from most all the department heads this week. You were copied on almost all of them.
And what you don't have is in your box.
There are 3 things in my box.
Yeah.
I would like the rest of those to review, that I could prepare today. Provide those to me, please.
Well, I have time to copy all of
I
it.
thought you
I'll
said
get
you
it
already
to you.
have it. Last week at the meeting, you said you had it. and
Commissioner, we're in the middle of a meeting, and we're not gonna sit here and argue with you. You either become part of the meeting or don't be part of the meeting. It's your choice. I'm not gonna implore everybody to
I don't have.
expend all their time. You just crashed the middle of a meeting when we're discussing something here.
This is mine is at 11, and everyone's aware of that, and since last week, since she took position, she's just absolutely refused to give me what she has.
Everything's been emailed to you.
On Friday or the day before the meeting, and the agenda's not generated until today, therefore I don't have the ability
I
to
have
like
to
play
wait
catch up.
for all the department heads to proofread their items before I send it out to the 3 commissioners. I send it all to you at the same
So
time.
once it's proofread, then I would like all those printed then, so I can go over them together. It's just too, that's what we have staff for.
We're short-staffed.
Yeah, we are short-staffed. We just
short-staffed.
posted the
Right.
position today.
So if you give me that information, you said that you have it today?
I have my backup folder, but I do
That's all I
not,
wanna see is the backup folder. Can I
I'm
see
not, no, I can't give you the originals because they turn up missing, and I'm not gonna have that. I'm
I'll
not gonna
review
do
them
that.
right here on video with the security people watching. I'll review the backup file right here in a public space.
Commissioner, you've taken things to your office and we didn't see them for 2 weeks. You've done things at that same counter before, and I had to come in and ask you to do it, and you had a snippy remark back to me when I asked you to do it. We're not gonna play this
So if
game.
you have the
We
backup
please get back to
file,
the
no, I
meeting.
would like to review the backup file, Lisa. With, on camera, for the whole world to see.
We got more information to take care of, but
And it's not out here. So, the whole point that they were trying to make to the news, that she has the backup file here at the meeting, is evidently not here in the contract.
What she's not telling you is she's been given this information in the past and documents have come up missing or defaced. Contracts have been defaced. Official county documents, that's why.
I think we should keep going.
anyone else have anything else? For the greater good?
April Caraway did reach out. She was wondering if a board member had been selected yet. Said that you have the application.
Okay.
Rest
I'll
at
have to
some
look
point.
at that and see. I don't think we put one forward to,
I'm ready to address
Right.
both positions if that's possible. I'll put them on for tomorrow.
I did speak with her this morning also. Trumbull Memorial Hospital reached out to me this weekend. They're on the verge of losing their mental health capabilities there as a mental health center. They're tied in with Sharon Regional. Right now, they're operating at about $1 million loss on their mental health division. They're working with their parent group to try to keep that open, but if we were to lose that as a tool in the toolbox, that would be a huge loss to our community. So I talked to April, she's already been working with them as far as paying for indigent beds, and, we have some partnership programs together. She's also gonna reach out again today, to see what else we might be able to do. But, we can't risk losing the only mental health facility hospital that we have here in the valley, or in the county. We don't have that at Mercy right now, although they are opening one for next year in Liberty. We need to preserve the, ability to treat people with mental health conditions, especially with the 3-day holds and pink slips and everything that we get. We can't lose that tool in our toolbox, I guess, for the community. So, see what happens with that, but April's gonna work with them to see what they can come up with.
Going to move anything forward onto your agenda for the next, or?
I mean, Julie, I know Mitzi's leaving, and with her, we have a wealth of knowledge and work that goes along with her. But the new position, could that be something that could do the same thing and fulfill the same thing for Zach?
I mean, Mitzi does that on her own time, that's something that she do prior to me even joining the, I can't speak for the new person was not hired with the understanding.
Right, I get it. I just didn't know if that was,
I don't even know what the job entails. I'm guessing it would require quite a bit.
Yeah, correct.
Zach, can you drop a job description?
Oh, job description.
how much was Mitzi getting paid?
$100 a month.
Like a stipend.
Stipend,
She was
yeah.
on a stipend payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I
never.
mean, Zach, I'd be
Marcy,
I'd be willing to help
how many
you from anything I
hours do you
can,
think
from any
the
HR
new
perspective,
person
draw up
will
a
be
job
working?
description
I
or
already got
whatever.
the job description done.
Okay.
Got the-
Okay, one at a time, guys, here, one at a time, please, so we can catch it on tape.
I'm just saying from a human resources perspective, if there's anything I can help with from a job description standpoint, I'll work with Zach to get that stuff done up front, but
So I have emailed to the commissioners, the job description and the amount that we needed, so it's really just, I'm gonna get provided the amount of money. I mean, really.
Well, I'd like to see what the job description entails,
And it's
If
been.
we can contract this, then I'm gonna look into that first, to be honest with you. Because it's been like this in the past, so I don't wanna add another employee with more legacy costs and everything else if we don't have to, but I'm not saying I won't, but I just wanna see the job description and see if that's something that somebody else can take on for a similar, maybe contract it out to a firm that does that sort of thing.
Auditor Yoder, I had asked Julie, the position that Mitzi has right now and that you'll be replacing, is that a full-time
Yes.
position? Okay, that was my question, just to see if we could do 2 part-time or something like that, but it doesn't work, so.
I guess just in conclusion, before we do adjourn, last week's commissioner meeting went way off the rails. We got all kind of feedback from the public after that. We went over a lot of good stuff here today. The reason we have these meetings is to move forward with county business. When things got personal last week, things went off the rails, the public doesn't need to see that. There's a segment of the population that loves that. It's like their entertainment, it's their Jerry Springer, Real Housewives moment that they look forward to every week to see who does what and who fights back, and that's not what this government is all about.
Right.
And I'm gonna do my best tomorrow to try to keep things in line, on track, over the last week. Because things went personal, I've had, I can't even tell you how many people reach out to me. I literally have a file the size of a phone book about personal records, and police reports and just things from the past that I really don't give 2 craps about, regarding anyone else. Our job here is to do county business, and if it stays on county business, that's what we need to keep the focus. If it's gonna turn into a circus and a personal things, and all these things are submitted, and people are reading, and people are coming up to the mic to attack, that's not kinda what we're all about. So I hope tomorrow, I beg tomorrow, that all 3 commissioners are reasonable when we have our meeting, and we don't go in that direction, because if we go in that direction, it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get real ugly for a lot of people, and I don't want that to happen. We don't need to waste any more of the taxpayers' time or money and effort in personal attacks and past records and past actions and allegations and threats and that type of stuff. So, I'd ask department heads, please keep cool heads tomorrow best we can. Let's try to do the county business, get in and get out and go back to work. I can't guarantee that that's gonna happen, but all we can do is ask that we try to make that happen the best way that we can, and keep ourselves out of any potential further legal action and circus atmosphere. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yes, sir.
Notice Ms. Frenchco wasn't
We need
here.
your name and where you're from.
Sean Shook, Trumbull County resident. I noticed Ms. Frenchco wasn't here for most of the meeting, but anyway, I noticed there was a concern. I'm glad to see that you, Commissioner Kent, Melissa, and Mara, and Malloy are here. I know that there was a great concern in the community recently about a post that Ms. Frenchco had put out on Facebook. Within that post, there was something about taking out commissioners. She insinuated that she was a warrior of God, something about slaying. There was many members of the community that were, myself included, that were concerned about this kind of talk on social media. I'm glad to see that you're okay, and I wanted to make sure that you were aware of what happened.
We were, and I guess that's part of the thing I'm talking about, is the things that happen after the meeting are nothing but distractions, and it's a waste of resources. And I think all 3 commissioners need to be working towards solving the mental health issues, solving the employee things, expanding services to the public, and not worried about the other stuff. And that's the stuff the public is gonna view us how they wanna view us, and they're gonna jump in. And right now, last week, it got out of hand, because all of a sudden, now, many groups were inflamed again, and there's talks of groups coming to the meeting and watching the meeting and wanting to get involved, and I appreciate that people share the concern, from myself and Commissioner Ken Lace over that one post, but I don't have time myself either, and I'm sure Mara doesn't. We all know the past, we all know the history, we're living this life, and, I mean, my mailbox has been full of things, and the anonymous stuff, that's one thing too. The anonymous stuff, I don't treat anything anonymous. If you can't put your name to it, it didn't happen. So, the anonymous letters that I've been getting this week about she did this, and you need to look into this, and they go right in the trash on my end. And it should be that way for all commissioners and all staff. And as far as the county goes, and department heads, if a letter comes in and it's anonymous, you have to treat it as that. There's a reason someone didn't want their name behind it, because there may not be truthfulness to it. And if we spread gossip, if we spread anonymous stuff, we're no better than you know, the evil that's portraying that, you know. So, I would hope that we look at that stuff, and if we get anything in regarding that stuff, there are some things coming in with names on them, names, address, phone number, everything about it, you know, with dates, facts, things, and I see that stuff, but the anonymous stuff, the he said, she said, the argumentative, the social stuff, that's the stuff that's gotta end. Alexander, you have something?
Yeah, Alexander DiVincenzi, Bush Human Resources. I can't work fast enough this last week, to be quite frank with everybody here, to combat the public records requests, the, anonymous emails that keep coming in to myself now as well as the Human Resources Director, and that's fine. But I was in the process of working through a policy that I was going to present to the board, that anything that does come in anonymous from a department head standpoint, we need to not act upon that. We shouldn't be forwarding out to people. We shouldn't be reading it on the record. If a certain elected official wants to do that, that's on, you know, that person. However, I'm gonna take a stance from a department head standpoint that we need to be better. If we see an anonymous email, we really need to not breathe air into it. Let it go. It's anonymous. So from an HR perspective, I would say if we don't have a valid name behind a complaint, then it's not a valid complaint.
Do we have a policy or anything?
I'm working on it. Like, so literally,
And that's
just
something
from,
every
yeah.
department probably should have, because people could sit here tomorrow and say that Morrow killed this person and I did this and she did this. It doesn't mean, you know, if there's nothing, no validity to it, you know, that's not right.
Well, I think
It's not
too,
right.
we also have to, if you see something, you say something. So a lot of people forwarded it to HR immediately, which I appreciate. However, at the same time, we had other people forwarding it to other people, to other people, to other people. Why are we breathing air into this? Okay, it's not okay. And although we can't account for what other people do, you know, we can account for what we do, and we need to be better too. And that's all I can say about that. Because I will not stand, at least my department, HR, will not stand for slanderous and malicious and defamatory anonymous emails going forward to this county.
Mr. Blair.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Matt, real quick. I've said this before, but it bears repeating, because you see it all the time, and it's sent to me, I'm sure it's sent to, the garbage that you see online, but, what we say and what we do matters. And we don't, when we leave this building, we are still in our official capacity. It's not like we take our hat off and say, okay, leaving, gonna be Morrow now, not commissioner anymore, not responsible. No. When you're at home, when you're on social media, when you're out and about, out in the public, you are still operating in your official capacity. So everything that's said in those, whatever's said in those rooms or whatever they do on social media, you're still acting as a representative of Trumbull County. And it's sad because slander, there's defamation, there's innuendo, there's flat out lies. It's terrible. It's terrible that people have to come to work and see that on a day-to-day basis. That's not what it's meant to do. That's not what we're meant to do here.
No.
That's not what we're meant to do here. We had a great productive meeting here today. They should all be like this. Unfortunately, we get bogged down in this other stuff that is just garbage. And, I think everybody in this room is kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
You know, I've reached my limit with it.
Me too.
It seems the community is very tired of it, but I respect your opinions here on not wanting to deal with it and address it so much and all that. I get that, but on some level, you have no choice when a certain member refuses to stop.
Hey, Matt Blair, I was wondering, can I invite business leaders to come to meetings? They would get a much different attitude to what's going on down here. I have to tell you, I sat here today, I was totally impressed. I think other leaders in the community would be impressed as well, if they actually saw government work. And the day before the meetings, I gotta tell you, you guys, this is amazing. This is exactly what should be happening. And, I think people would have a lot more confidence if they were able to come and watch you guys.
They're more than welcome, this is a public meeting, and we do, I walk out of these meetings on Tuesday, proud of our whole staff and proud of our whole team, and then we go and vote on the things, I'm proud of the votes that I make, and then what I'm not proud of is the after the meeting and the comments that come in after of, you know, why did you let her say this, why did you do this, all the banner, it's like I said, it's literally is Real Housewives of Trumbull County type of thing, and we don't need to portray that to the business community. We don't need to portray that to the people that wanna relocate businesses here or start businesses here. They don't need all the distractions. They see it, I hear from it, I mean, I hear from all those people afterward, and I can't tell you, just last week, I probably get 75 apologies from people that I don't even know, and I'm like, what do you apologize? You don't need to apologize for me. I'm a big boy, I can handle anything that's thrown on my shoulders. And if someone's coming after me, that means they're leaving everyone else in this room alone at that time. So I take that burden on my shoulders, and so does Mara. But, you know, there are innocent people here that work here. There are people here that are getting attacked that don't need to be. They need to be doing their jobs, and they come here to work, go home to their families. They don't need the distractions. They don't subscribe to wanting to be on a talk show, wanting to be on a Jerry Springer, wanting to be on a Maury Povich type atmosphere. And that's kind of what this turns into. And granted, yes, I'm a part of it too. I can't sit here and just let somebody get picked on without defending or fighting back. And when I hear something that's asinine or outrageous, I'm gonna comment on it. That's my go-to, you know, with that. So, if we can't just sit here and let someone take a meeting over too, we gotta fight back when it comes to that. Yeah.
Just Martha Yoder, auditor, just a reminder, the meetings are also on the website, it's just the audio. So if somebody doesn't wanna come all the way downtown and they just wanna listen, invite them to go on the website and listen in. At this point, we don't have video for these, we hope to at some point, but, I think that would be helpful and constructive as well, if people would just listen to this part. They could see that we're working together and doing it.
And I'm very thankful that we have a board of 3 and not a board of 2.
Yeah.
Because you can see how much county business would actually get done.
Right.
So, God was watching over somebody when he made county commissioners be a board of 3. Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
Mr. Cantala Mesa,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Malloy,
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco.
Now, in my, I'm assuming that your dog license.